Hi everyone, Austin here. I just wanted to give a quick update to our second episode of the San Antonio Seahawks Fan Club podcast. This episode is much more improved than our first episode on the draft watch party. We fixed our audio issues. We're still working through some kinks and some technical difficulties, mainly with this laptop here in learning how open broadcasting software or open broadcasting studio works. This episode is a really good episode. The conversation was really good. There are points when the video starts lagging and gets choppy. It comes in and out. So just bear with it. The audio is pristine. It's good. It doesn't get interrupted at all. And enjoy the show. So with that, I'll leave it to that. We'll keep working on our technical difficulties and hopefully we can get this ironed out for episode 3. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dan. This is Dennis. Behind the camera is our dedicated sound guy, Austin, and there's his thumb. And Dennis is very important, as you see. He's answering his work obligations. But welcome to the San Antonio Fan Club podcast, live stream, whatever you call it. This will be on YouTube, Instagram, Discord, and, of course, Facebook. So who are we, Dennis? Do you want to just talk a little bit about who we are for the group?
Yeah, well, my name's Dennis. Been with the San Antonio fan group now for quite a while, for pretty much from the beginning. We're a group of Seahawks fans that meets for watch parties and even other non-football related activities throughout the year. We're all Seahawks fans. A lot of us are from that area.
Yes, we are.
We've even met. I know Jeremy Pantig. He's one of our group members. He and I are both from Bremerton, so we have a little bit of history there. But yeah, we just have a lot of people that come out, enjoy watching the games, have a good time. So
yep, our current meeting point is the Dog Company Ice House, or the Texas Dog Company Ice House. It's at I-10 and Huebner. We meet there every Seahawks game, both preseason, regular season, and for the playoffs. So if you are interested in coming out, hanging out with fellow Seahawks fans, enjoying the game, having some nice drinks, come see us. We do prize drawings, we do cash drawings, we do a trivia contest at halftime. So we're really excited because the group really grew this past year. I think some of the colder games, if I remember correctly, were somewhere in the range of 30 degrees. We had about 12 people, but then how many did we have for the Super Bowl approximately, Dennis?
Oh, I could not begin to estimate. There had to have been at least 500 people there.
Saying 500, 600.
I was going to say at least that. I mean, there was a huge, and most of them, I don't know what you remember. I remember most of them were in Seahawks gear.
Yeah, I would say 98% plus, probably more. Yeah, in my opinion.
It was a huge Seahawks.
It was a great time though, and thankfully, obviously, our beloved Seahawks, as you can see from our great poster back here, won that Super Bowl 60 with a final score of 29-13, and couldn't be happier.
It was a lot of fun. The season was a lot of fun, and yes, you know what? The group probably started off at the beginning of the season, maybe 40 or 50. Something first game of the season, something like that. And there were a few times, especially I find that a lot of times when we have a primetime game, there's fewer people there.
Yes.
They can watch it at home on the regular channel or whatever. Plus, if kids have to go to bed and things like that. So I find that usually we tend to get a few less people during primetime games.
Especially Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursday nights, yeah. Even Monday nights. Yeah. If it's Sunday nights, maybe a little bit better crowd. But I felt like as the season progressed, and obviously as the team did well, and we're doing well throughout the season, I felt like the crowd started getting bigger and bigger. I think that really contributed a lot to it, was the success of the team. And it's good for our group, but I feel like Seahawks fans are probably pretty resilient, although it's been a while since we had to say that.
Well, that's absolutely true. And we both know that they are resilient because, if I have a picture on my computer here going back to the very first game the Seahawks ever played in, then not the Kingdome, but King County Stadium prior to it being named the Kingdome. The place was packed, and the Kingdome back in its heyday had 66,000 seats. We're only at roughly 4,000 more in what's now Lumen Field, which sits on the same site as the Kingdome. But, we've always been fans. the city of Seattle has produced a fan base that's basically unrivaled, in my opinion.
Close. I mean, I would say there's probably some pretty good fan bases out there. I always felt like some of the greatest fan bases were teams like the Packers.
That's true with the ownership of the team, and the Bills fans that not like to jump through the tables. They're quite enthusiastic, to say the least. No, thank you from my standpoint.
Yeah, Steelers fans I feel like are diehards. I even think about a fan base that's only recently been good, but it's historically been kind of bad, was the Lions. I feel like the Lions have a good fan base. Fans go to watch a team and they have not been good.
Right.
Only recently.
The Lions kind of fell off ever since I think it was a loss to the Rams in the playoffs a couple years ago, if I remember correctly. And I feel bad for them. Jared Goff is a solid quarterback.
Now, last year for the Lions was certainly a transition year in the fact that they lost both of their coordinators, both their offensive and defensive coordinator left to go take head coaching jobs. Yep. That's got to be hard on a team.
No question about it.
I can't. It's hard enough losing one or the other, and now you're worried about, hey, are we going to be able to do if your team if they left because they were fired, you have to wonder, well, are we going to get better? And if they left because they're taking a head coaching position, you got to wonder, hey, are we going to be as good? So that's always that. But to have both leave, that's got to be tough. So
very much so.
So I think he'll bounce back. Dan Campbell's a great coach. He's a great head coach.
He absolutely is. But the Seahawks are 50% of the way into the same boat as the Lions because Clint Kubiak departed for the Raiders, and he's now their head coach, replacing Pete Carroll for the 2026 season. And so we'll see how well he does down there. I thank you for helping us get to the Super Bowl. Honestly, he will be missed, but
we'll see how that goes. It's a little more of a worry than it would be on the defensive side, because you feel like Mike McDonald, being the defensive guy he is really sort of the de facto defensive coordinator.
Oh, absolutely, because he was the defensive coordinator in Baltimore, and then he got hired to be the Seahawks head coach. Sorry, but ultimately, I'm not worried about the Seahawks defense, but.
No.
The draft did help fill some gaps, as we discussed pre-show, but we had the departure of K9 to the Chiefs, and we had the departure of Kobe Bryant to the Bears, and Reek Woolen to the Eagles, and Boye Mafe to goodness,
who did? I don't remember
who picked him up. I think it was the Bengals.
Oh, it was the Bengals. You're right.
So we had a few small holes, but honestly, I'm not concerned about the defense.
I don't feel like we lost as much this time around as the last time we lost, and I really feel like John Schneider learned a lot from that experience last time.
Yes.
In that he targeted some guys before the draft. Instead of waiting for the draft to happen and then figuring out who to get, I think he went into the draft knowing what the strengths and the weaknesses were in the draft.
Absolutely.
They targeted certain guys either to keep or to bring in from the outside as draft hedges in case things didn't go the way they wanted to during the draft. So I feel like John Schneider did a great job this offseason. Man, I mentioned this in a post on Facebook. I really feel like now is a time when we will be able to look back and say this is a golden age of being a Seahawks fan.
Oh, it really is. There's no question about it. Obviously, winning helps. Everyone likes winning.
Sure, but you look at when have we been bad since Pete Carroll was hired?
Since Pete Carroll was hired, never. There was some bad years when we went 4-12 and 5-11 respectively in 08 and 09. But then Questfield at the time was still packed to capacity. I have pictures of myself there, and it was still loud and proud. And ultimately, Seahawks fans are honestly the epitome of loyal, in my opinion. I know I have a little bit of bias being one and sitting here in this beautiful man cave here with lots of cool Seahawks stuff around. So this is a really cool experience for Dennis and I and Austin to get to sit here and enjoy these items. So thank you for that. And thank you to everyone out there who watched the live stream that Dennis, Austin, and I put together for the 2026 draft. We thank all of you guys. We know that it had some hiccups and the sound was a little messed up and it was really loud in the background, but we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're working out all the kinks and everything of recording these podcast-like events. We honestly don't really know what to call it yet. We were talking pre-show about what exactly we should call our podcast or discussion. And frankly, if anyone out there watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, whatever you're using to watch it, if you have a suggestion or an idea for this recording or podcast-like event, please drop a comment which we will see. This is not being broadcasted live, but if you have an idea for the name or an idea for the group as a whole, please let us know. Feel free to contact us. We welcome ideas. We're not trying to sit back here and just say everything must be our way or the highway. We want to have fun, have discussions about football with each other, because we frankly love the game and we love our team.
Yeah, I love it. And I kind of joke my nickname, my Seahawks nickname is Nerd Hawk.
Yes, it is.
I love the aspect of, I love the draft. I love the numbers. I love
really do.
The history. Those are a lot of things that I like about my teams. Not just the Seahawks, but of course I'm being from there. Mariners fan.
Yep.
Sonics fan.
Absolutely.
Sounders fan.
Shout out
now
Gary Payton, Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay, yeah. Hey, shout out to Lenny Wilkins and Jack Sigma. I'm older than you are.
Yes, just a little bit. Well, in all seriousness, no. Though, shout out Randy Johnson, just had his number retired by the Mariners.
Yeah, so cool.
And I mean, I know he shares number 51 with Ichiro, but the fact that there's now 2 dedicated plaques, very, very large plaques there in Safeco Field, is a testament to how good those guys actually were. It's too bad they never got a ring, but I'm sure one day, hopefully this year, knock on wood. Come on, Dennis.
Do not get my hopes up.
I know.
I'm a longtime Mariners fan, and
as am I.
At this point, I've
Last
relegated myself
right
to
there on the edge of getting to the World Series.
I think
didn't quite.
I hate to say it, but I'm afraid that's about the closest we're ever going to get with the ownership group that we have. Oh, it's hard to imagine us just going out and getting the guys that are going to put us over the top. So I don't know.
I mean, at least the Mariners took 3 out of 4 against the Astros in Houston recently. Unfortunately, now they've already lost to the Padres back at home, and they're playing, actually, I believe, as this video is being recorded, and then they've got the White Sox at home as well. So hopefully the Mariners can pick it up. Too bad that Cal Raleigh, the true all-star catcher, who is unquestionably among the best of the best catchers in MLB history. Too bad he's on the injured reserve list, but he'll be back. Is he going to get to 60 home runs this year? No, it wasn't a fluke at all last season, but it was ultimately a season that's repeated maybe once every 40 years.
It's you can't repeat that. It's impossible to even expect. It's impossible to even imagine it. It's not going to happen again. I
agree.
He's never going to do it again. So
I agree, but I still love you, Cal. Wish you the best. Get better quick, and we know you're cheering for the Seahawks too, and the Seahawks are definitely cheering for all of you guys on the Mariners squad. So go Mariners.
Last year I got to see a couple things. I went and watched the Mariners a few times. Got to see them. I got to see Cal hit number 57, which broke the Mariners record.
Yeah, beating Ken Griffey Jr.'s record.
And I saw happen right in front of me the Victor Robles diving catch
I remember that.
to win the second game of the series against the Astros, what ended up being a sweep.
Yes, it was.
And really ended up winning the AL West for them. So
absolutely did.
I saw that live right in front of me. It was freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
It was probably my best live moment ever. It's either that or I saw Franklin Gutierrez rob Elvis Andrus of a home run against the Rangers one year.
Nice.
To preserve a 1-run win. Ironically, the game-winning RBI was Ken Griffey Jr. with an infield hit.
Oh, okay.
And this was in his latter years, not his younger years.
He wasn't quite as fast.
He was not fast at all. There was no fast at all in him, but he laid down an infield hit, which got them the go-ahead RBI, and they ended up winning by 1
You know
run.
what I'm grateful for, Dennis?
What's that?
That can't be repeated or replicated. I had the privilege of watching Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run both in the Kingdome and in modern-day T-Mobile Park.
Yeah.
And the one where he hit a home run it was called Safeco Field at the time. He hit 2 home runs in one game in then Safeco Field. And I could not be more happy that I got to see that in person, knowing he's not going to ever be back out on the diamond again, with the exception of ceremonies and honoring him for his many accomplishments in baseball. But I got to see it in person as a player. It just warms my heart thinking about it, and I'm really, really thankful for that. So let's see. So do we want to discuss who we picked up in the draft? What do you think?
Oh, I want to kind of go over the season in review. I mean, I like to review I like to review last season. Of course, it was a fun season. I want to keep talking about it. So
it was a wonderful season. You can't get much better than winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching it in the fan group. But the season it was fun watching the team. I feel like the difference between them and what other teams did was, I feel like the Seahawks got better as the season progressed.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
I don't necessarily know if you can pick one side of the ball or the other that necessarily got better. I think the offense started off good and then maybe plateaued a little bit. But I think they found their rhythm. But the defense, I felt like, continued to get better as the season progressed.
Absolutely.
And that's what obviously the defense is what drove our team last year.
Same thing as Super Bowl 48. I mean, the offense wins games, defense wins championships, period. End of story.
Yeah, I feel like the difference between this season and that season, I think that season I kind of expected them to be contending for the Super Bowl. I feel like the way they lost the last game of the season against the Falcons,
the previous
they
year,
almost the
Russell
previous
Wilson's
year,
rookie year,
yeah. I feel like they were this close to or already getting there,
They were.
and they improved that off season.
They did,
and I felt like, hey, this is the season when this is our season.
Yeah.
Whereas this past season, I went in thinking, hey, I think we're pretty good, but I didn't think we were better than the 49ers. I didn't think we were better than the Rams. I wasn't sure if we were better than some AFC teams, the Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs ended up with a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah, Mahomes going down really sunk their efforts.
I felt like we were like a top 10 team, but I wasn't sure if we were better than that. And as the season kept going, I started to wonder. I remember one time at a watch party after a game, I specifically asked you the question, are we the best team in football right now?
Me that
are we really the
exact
best team in
words.
football at this point? It feels like we are. And you and I were talking about this, where the one game that really cemented it for me, like we're the best team, was ironically the loss against the Rams.
Yes, that was a frustrating loss. It was a good watch party, and there was that one Rams heckler there who was having a great time heckling Sam Darnold for throwing a grand total of 4 interceptions in one game, which was not good at all. But you remember how it ended.
Well, what I remember was, yeah, Sam Darnold was terrible that day. He just was. He had a bad day. And obviously the offense wasn't where we'd want it to be. But at the end of the game, there's Jason Myers with a chance to win the game with a really long field goal. He didn't make it.
Right.
But you come out of the game and you
close.
think, hey, we were playing away in LA. Our quarterback was terrible today, and we still had a chance to win the game at the
Lost by
end.
2 points.
At that point, I was more confident at that point that we were going to win the NFC West than I was going into the game. And even because the way we lost was, hey, Sam Darnold's not going to do that again. And he didn't. He wasn't. He had a middle stretch there where he wasn't great. He started off the season really well. He had a middle part where he wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. And although now national media were focused on the turnovers, I think as fans we were a little more in tune with, hey, the defense is what's going to drive this team, and the run game is going to drive this team. The run game is going to set up the passing game. So as long as we're running the ball, even if, a lot of times I know fans get frustrated when they see, we keep running the ball and getting 2 yards. We keep running the ball and getting 1 yard. That isn't necessarily for that particular time. That's for down the road when, those 1 and 2 yard runs are 1 and 2 yard runs now. But when the defensive line is tired at the end of the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, now that's going to be a 4 and 5 yard gain. Absolutely. Or a 10-yard gain, or butts it out for a 25-yard gain. Yeah. That's what those teams
or get those first downs at the end of the game when you desperately need them in order to move the ball for potentially setting up a game-winning field goal. Like, Jason Myers missed, but ultimately it didn't matter. I mean, we beat the Rams twice later that season. Dennis, do you know off the top of your head which team it was in the NFL that the only team in the NFL that outright beat the Seahawks last year in 2025. Do you remember?
That beat them
Outright.
What do you mean outright?
Well,
Beat this?
As in, we never had a chance to play them again.
We lost to the Buccaneers.
Bingo. They were the only team out of all the games played, including the Super Bowl, which just beat the Seahawks. And ultimately, it didn't matter because of the record. Won the NFC West. And then we played, I'm going to try to remember this correctly. The Seahawks played 3 different 12-win teams in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl, and won the Super Bowl. And none of the teams in NFL history had ever done that before. So some people are saying out there like, oh my gosh, the Seahawks, it was a fluke and the Niners were injured and you just won because Rashid Shaheed had a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown. But that simply isn't the case. It's just dumb to say that stuff because if you dig into the numbers, like, it just doesn't add up. I mean,
well, I feel like the other thing that put the Seahawks over the top versus other teams, yeah, the Rams had a better offense than we did. There's no doubt, and they probably still do. But
better O-line for sure.
Their special teams was terrible. Outright terrible
was.
last year. Their special teams was outright terrible. They fired their special team coach in the middle of the season.
Yes.
They ended up switching kickers. So, I mean, their special teams wasn't good, and that's what ended up being the difference in the Seahawks beating the Rams with special teams.
It was because Shaheed ran the punt back for a touchdown on the Thursday night game in Seattle.
The second game, sure.
Yep. And then, again, he didn't run one back in the NFC Championship game. But
no, but we had the muff punt,
correct.
Which they recovered. And actually, they had 2 muff punts. One they recovered themselves, and one the Seahawks ended up recovering. So,
but the one that the Rams recovered was close anyways. The Seahawks players were right there.
Yeah.
It was basically a stroke of luck for the Rams to manage to corral that ball. But thankfully, the Seahawks got the other one back because, it was almost a shootout style game in the NFC Championship, at least.
It was
because of the who had the ball last type scenario, and then as you remember in overtime, the Seahawks went down, and I think it was Al Michaels, the broadcaster, was saying, here it is, decision time. Are you going to go for the tie or go for the win? They went for the win, and that 2-point conversion. Actually, excuse me, that wasn't the NFC Championship game. That was the regular season game,
the Thursday night game,
and
the 2-point conversion game, if you want to remember.
Yeah, that to end the game in OT, and it was Eric Sorberg, I believe.
Saubert, actually, Saubert. Eric. Yeah, I remember Al Michaels saying Eric Saubert.
Yeah. Al Michaels.
It was hilarious. I love Al Michaels.
Al Michaels is great. He's an icon of football in the same exact way that Pat Summerall and John Madden were. He's going to be missed whenever it is that he metaphorically hangs up his microphone and headset. But he's fantastic.
Yeah, we were talking about that game. We were talking about special teams. One thing I did notice in that game, I just rewatched it a few days ago again, and one thing I did notice in that game about special teams was I know that the Rams knew their special teams was bad because at least twice on kickoffs from their side they kicked it out of bounds, out of the end zone.
Yeah, they sure
not out of, I shouldn't say out of bounds, but out of the end zone, which automatically puts the ball at the 35, not the 25. So they were willing to give up 10 extra yards just to keep the Seahawks from getting a big play.
Hey, we'll spot you a first down, I guess was their attitude going into that.
Basically.
But, hey, it helped the Seahawks ultimately. And
so the Seahawks were good
thanks, Rams. Appreciate you.
No kidding. I feel like the Seahawks were really good at all 3 facets of the game.
No doubt.
They were phenomenally good at defense. They were good on offense, and they were really good on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Jason Myers again. Yes, I know that he did not make the kick in Los Angeles in week 10, I think it was, and they lost by 2. But then for whatever reason, the offense completely stalled against the Colts at home against 94-year-old Phillip Rivers, and Jason Myers saved the day, and they ended up winning 18-16.
6 field goals, yeah.
6 field goals in one game.
5 field goals in the Super Bowl.
Exactly, 5 field goals in the Super Bowl. I mean, and then there was a touchdown pass caught by Barner. I believe.
AJ Barner.
Yeah, I hope that guy's around for a long time to come.
And
with us.
Jake,
I really do.
And Jake Bobo.
More Bobo. Jake Bobo has been re-signed, so that's fantastic news for anybody out there who didn't know that. Jake Bobo was re-signed, so if you wanted more Bobo, guess what? You got him.
That was actually a surprise. That's a good segue into talking about the offseason.
It is.
Talking about free agency. I was actually surprised that the Seahawks ended up re-signing him. The Jaguars actually signed him to an offer sheet because Jake Bobo was a restricted free agent.
He was.
Seattle placed a tender on him, meaning that they actually placed an undrafted tender on him, meaning the team could sign him to an offer sheet.
Right.
The Seahawks had the chance to match it. If they didn't match it, the Jaguars got him, but the Seahawks got no compensation back.
Right.
So I was kind of surprised because it was actually a decent amount of money for a guy that I don't know. The one thing I think that they feel like was valuable enough to the team to keep him was his play on special teams. And I really feel like a lot of our offseason signees went towards replenishing free agents we lost that were key on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, before Rashid Shaheed was traded for by the Saints mid-season last year, I believe Bobo was the number one returner.
No, it was actually Torrey Horton.
I'm wrong. Torrey Horton.
Torrey Horton, yeah,
You're right.
That's an interesting thing to think about is we only had Torrey Horton for the first part of the season, then he got injured.
Yes.
Didn't play for the rest of the season. He's a guy that we should look at coming back and being a big contributor at the wide receiver position. Also, another player that I was excited to see in the Super Bowl that we didn't see all season long was Riley Mills.
Yes.
Who we only saw at the very, very end of the season.
Big defensive lineman.
He didn't play a lot, but man, that Super Bowl, that play, I think that might have been my favorite play in the Super Bowl was him just overpowering that offensive lineman, reaching over and through him to sack the quarterback. That was incredible. That's my favorite play.
It's not like he pancaked the offensive lineman and then went after Drake May, the quarterback. The offensive lineman was still trying to block him, and he just said no. He went through him, and he got that sack on Drake May. Just
reached around him basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And the strength of a guy that required to make that happen physically is just unimaginable almost.
Yeah,
but
Riley Mills.
Great job.
Yeah, Riley
Great
Mills
job,
would have been drafted earlier in the draft had he not been injured.
Yeah.
The Seahawks knew that going in. Every team did.
Of course.
Going into the draft, last year's draft. But I think Seattle was deep enough to go, hey, you know what? This is a guy we really like. We feel like he's going to come back from this injury, and he obviously ended up contributing. So I'm really excited to see what he's got coming. But, what else in free agency did we do? We re-signed Rashid Shaheed. We re-signed Drake Thomas.
Yep. So
I think some key positions where I don't think Seattle felt like they were going to be able to draft a guy. Wide receiver was deep in the draft, but I don't think Seattle felt like there was going to be a big difference maker at the positions they were drafting from.
Yeah, we didn't need a wide receiver. That was never a desperate need. The running back need was pretty dire considering that K9 was traded to the Chiefs and Zach Charbonnet is still rehabbing his ACL, I think it is.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet still come back from his injury. So
we don't know when he'll be back yet, but
I think the key additions were, besides the guys that we kept, the one key addition I felt like we made was Dante Fowler, an edge rusher, because that's the one position we weren't really able to draft.
Exactly.
Although I know that he had actually visited a team before the draft, and the team was just kind of waiting for that date where a free agent signing doesn't affect your draft compensation for the next season. Yep. And I think Dante Fowler was good with that. So I really feel like that's what they were waiting for.
Well, that combined with the fact that DeMarcus Lawrence, number 0, he said, hey, man, if you want to get a ring, you're not going to get it with the Cowboys, especially not in 2026. So while you've still got it in the tank, come over to the Seahawks. We're young, we're strong, we're fast, especially on defense. They're no doubt better than the offense is. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the Seahawks repeat. Whether they will, who knows? We certainly hope that they do, and I imagine that all the Seahawks fans out there watching this will agree with that statement. We're really excited for the season to get going. some team news as far. I mean, most people don't pay much attention to this. Today, the Spring League meetings taking place on the 19th of May through the 20th. On the 26th of May, the Seahawks have their OTAs, otherwise known as Organized Team Activities, that begin. They run May 26th, May 28th, 29th, June 1st, and June 3rd and 4th. So that'll be exciting for the rookies to get out there and really, really show what they can do with the coaches. And then the first preseason game of 2026 is, I had it right in front of me here. First preseason game is August 15th. Cowboys at Seahawks in Seattle at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Texas time. So the San Antonio Seattle Seahawks Fan Club, that is the official name, I might add. We discussed that.
San Antonio Seahawks Fan Club. Yes.
Not drop the Seattle?
I don't think there's a Seattle. It's San Antonio Seahawks
Austin,
Fan Club.
Is there a Seattle in there or not?
It's the San Antonio Seahawks.
Okay, Austin says it's San Antonio Seahawks Fan Club. No word Seattle in there, but that's fine. So, yes, there will be a watch party at the Texas Dog Company Ice House for all preseason games, all regular season games, and all playoff games, which undoubtedly the Seahawks will be back in the playoffs. So hopefully, if you're a Seahawks fan, you can come out August 15th, 7 p.m. Texas time. We'll see you then.
Hey, Dan, even before then, there's something we're doing. I don't know. We didn't mention this earlier as far as our fan group goes, but we have a bowling party coming up really soon.
We do.
What's the date?
May 30th.
The 30th
is the date of that, and it's going to be taking place at the Pin Stack Bowling Alley, located at 19238 I-10 San Antonio 78257. So come on out May 30th. Hope to see you there.
What time?
It is at 2 p.m.
Nice.
on May 30th at Pin Stack, the North Pin Stack, behind the Ferrari dealership in the north end of San Antonio. No Ferraris will be supplied.
Well, I was going to say we could go shopping afterwards.
I mean, wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I'd love to just sit in one and maybe put the flag, on the back. Hey, can I just super glue this on real fast? I'll take it off.
We could go in and buy a Ferrari and then wrap it with Seahawks colors and cool. It'd be cool.
Oh, actually, there was a Lamborghini a couple years ago. I was up in Seattle and I was in the Mill Creek, South Everett area, somewhere around Linwood. And I don't know who owned the thing, but there was a Seahawks-themed Lamborghini. I have some pictures of it. I made sure not to touch it, but oh my goodness gracious, that thing was beautiful. Yeah. And I never wanted a car so badly, but I think that's a little bit out of reach, but that's okay.
No, we can have some fun bowling. So before we meet for games, we have a little fun, off-season stuff. Talk some more there, have some fun, get to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, we're all about socialization.
Are we?
Well, we're getting better at socialization. We crashed the Eagles draft party, so thank you to the San Antonio Eagles group for letting us crash the party there and do our last live broadcast. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, I won the Spirit Award.
You did.
They gave me a trophy.
Dennis got a real world trophy from Problem, the leader of the Eagles group.
Yes, his name is Problem.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that's his actual name. And Dennis, you should have brought that.
I should have brought the trophy. I didn't think about that.
Put it right in front of us here to show that we're winners. Doggone it, we're winners.
It was funny because he was like, "Who are we going to give this trophy to?" There weren't a lot of people there, but it was still fun. But who's representing their team? And I had actually brought my replica Seahawks Super Bowl ring.
Yes, you did.
And I was wearing it, so I showed it to him. So he gave me the award for most spirit.
Honestly,
I wasn't
you
even
deserved
an Eagles
it.
fan.
You
so
deserved it.
I don't know about that.
No.
They had some fun. They had some Eagles fans there that were decked out, but
oh yeah,
it was still fun. It was fun. And he comes across as that kind of guy that he's magnanimous like that.
Absolutely.
He understands there are other fans, other fan clubs. We were talking about a little bit ago about how the Rams fans that showed up for the second game, of course, they were giving us grief because they were winning the game.
Absolutely.
What's their chant? It's whose house? Our house.
Yeah.
So they were doing that back and forth. So, but even then it was fun. It was fun to have those guys there. I liked it when they were there and having fun. I talked to maybe about inviting some other fan groups from other teams to come out to our
Absolutely.
watch parties just to have some fun. During trivia, when I do trivia, I try to include a little bit of trivia about the team we're playing against. So
I noticed that during your trivia
So
sessions.
yeah, I try to do that, have a little fun with that. So I think it's fun. It makes it a more enjoyable experience for me at least. It's fun to have other teams fans there that are where you can banter back and forth and have fun like that. So
Well, I really enjoy it. And then if you do win the trivia at the watch party, the halftime trivia, which Dennis puts on, you get a free prize ticket so you can pick a prize of your choosing after the end of the third quarter. And we have a prize table there set out for people to choose prizes. And we're looking forward to having plenty of really good prizes this upcoming season. And come on out, participate in the prize drawing. Tickets will be $1 each. And let's see, how else do you earn them? Or just the trivia and purchasing a buck a piece. Okay. So speaking of money and everything like that, Dennis, as many people know, the Seahawks are up for sale. This shouldn't be news to any Seahawks fan at the moment, but ultimately somebody out there is eventually, sooner or later, going to be buying the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, obviously the team's up for sale because Paul Allen required in his will
He did indeed.
that the team be sold and that the proceeds benefit charity, which obviously that's a great thing for him to do. The sad part is we're going to be losing Jody Allen, and obviously we lost Paul Allen as an owner. Paul Allen was a great owner.
Oh, no question about it.
And Jody Allen's been a phenomenal owner. She has carried on the tradition. I think she stays out of she knows what's going on with the team. She's informed and she's up to date and she's involved, but she lets the football guys make football decisions.
Exactly. Just like Paul did. He did the same thing.
Exactly.
But his passion was always known by everyone, not just the players, not just the coaches, but everyone, staffers, fans, everyone. He loved to raise the 12th man flag, which he did, I believe, for the NFC Championship back in 2013. And then Jody did it again this past season for the NFC Championship, continuing that legacy. So frankly, I look forward to seeing whoever it is that owns the team, or what a group of people that ultimately buy the team as a collective or conglomerate or something of that nature. I hope them raising the NFC Championship flag, or raising the 12 flag, at the NFC Championship in Seattle in January of 2027. Let's hope that happens.
That would be awesome. I think coming from a fan perspective, it's scary to wonder if you're going to get a good ownership group. Obviously, we know there are good owners out there, and there are bad owners out there.
You got that right.
You look at teams like the Browns,
Yes.
the Jets,
Going nowhere fast.
the Cowboys. You feel like, and I don't want to say Jerry Jones is necessarily a bad owner. I think Jerry Jones just meddles.
Oh, no question about it.
Instead of allowing a football guy to make football decisions and you write the checks, I think Jerry Jones is just out to prove that.
Well,
but I don't want to talk about Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I want our team to have an owner that allows football guys to make football decision and go out and find the best football guys you can. And the other thing that I've loved about our ownership group is recognizing a mistake and rectifying it immediately instead of saying, well, allowing pride to say, well, I chose this guy, so let's ride this out or whatever. When John Schneider's also been great about that. When they, I can give some example. Percy Harvin is a perfect example.
Oh yeah, he ran a touchdown back in the Super Bowl. Yes, but
sure, but he was a cancer in the locker room.
He absolutely was.
So as soon as they figured out, hey, this isn't going to work, they just let him go. Hey, look, we already paid the price for him. We already made our draft. We traded draft picks for him. We spent a lot of money on him, but you know what? It's not working, so let's cut our losses now and move on. Instead of saying, well, we spent all these draft capital on him, so let's try to keep him around or whatever. That's just a bad way of looking at it. It's you have to look at it like it's a sunk cost. Like you can't think about what it costs in order to get somebody. You have to go with what's the best decision for the team going forward.
Oh yeah.
So you hope that an ownership group comes in and does that, but we don't know, and we're not in charge of it. As much as fans love to think this is our team, it's somebody else's team. We just root for it.
Business too,
and it is a business
that wants to make money. All 32 teams want to make money now, but it has that aspect on the flip side of being the competition the fans love to see. But at the end of the day, every team is a business.
And you hope it's not a cheap owner, too. Look at the Bidwells in Arizona.
Oh, gosh.
I can't imagine being a Cardinals fan and just expecting to be able to win. I just can't do it.
Right now with Jacoby Brissett, they're not going to win anything.
No, but
3 games, maybe 4.
But you just look at the ownership group. They're so cheap all the time. They're cheap about their stadium. They're cheap about everything. And just you can't draw players to your team wanting to come play for your team, knowing that the owner isn't going to put the time and the effort and the resources into the team to win. So I don't know. This is the way I look at it. So I'm reticent. I'm worried. I mean, I wouldn't say go far as to say I'm worried, but I'm reticent about whether we're going to get a great owner or not.
I hope we do.
Again, we're in a golden age, man. This has been a golden age ever since they hired Pete Carroll, and that's a great example of look what they did. They recognized that hiring Jim Mora wasn't the right thing to do.
No,
after
not
one
at
now,
all. But
me personally, when it happened, I was a little frustrated that they fired Jim Mora after one season. They didn't give him much of a chance.
No,
but they saw the opportunity to hire Pete Carroll and John Schneider, and it's been a great decision.
I mean, Pete Carroll was coming out of USC at the time, and the Reggie Bush conflict aside, which I don't believe at all was cheating. I really don't. And I'm grateful that the rules of college football and compensation and things like that have been changed to allow players to receive some benefits for their own production. But Pete Carroll started the golden age, and you could argue that Mike Holmgren did because the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl in the 2005 season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately didn't win, but we've had it pretty darn good for the last 20 years. I'm not complaining. I mean, 2 Super Bowl rings and a great team going into 2026. I mean, I'm happy as heck.
Yeah,
I really am.
It's been a golden age for Seattle. So fortunately, we've had a great ownership, and hopefully that can continue. But yeah, that's the
I'm
sale
sure
team.
it will
So.
because Jody's going to interview every single person involved with the sale, and it has to be voted on by all NFL owners, anyways.
Yeah, the owners have to vote on it, but I don't think they really care whether whether owner is going to. I think the owners care about a lot of things other than whether the team's going to win or not. I mean, if they didn't, they wouldn't allow guys like Bill Bidwell to own teams. So it just wouldn't happen.
Bill Bidwell's incompetence is demonstrated by the fact that the Cardinals are not favored in any one out of the 17 games that they will play in 2026. That's rare.
Yeah.
To not be favored for literally your entire regular season.
Yeah.
Playoffs, don't even think about it, Cardinals. It's not happening.
Well, if they got to play the Jets, maybe they'd be favored. I don't know.
Well, that's... I mean, who knows what's going to happen there because
the Jets are going to be bad again.
Oh, the Jets are going to be bad, despite the fact that Geno Smith may be the starter on the Jets over Russell Wilson if Russell Wilson switches from the Giants to the Jets. That is a rumor at this point. I fully understand that. But if it happens, I mean, wow, that would be...
Yeah, the other possibility. Yeah, the other possibility is he goes to broadcast booth. He's thinking about
There's
it.
rumors about him going into broadcasting.
Apparently there's an offer. So.
Honestly, whatever Russell Wilson ultimately decides to do, I wish him the best. I mean, he really gave us some amazing football to watch during his time in Seattle, and I thank him for everything he did. I thank him for bringing that first trophy, that holy grail of crossing the threshold of never winning anything to finally we have a trophy, gosh darn it. And thank you, Russell Wilson, if you ever see this, for everything you did for the Seahawks, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Speaking of Super Bowls, though, Dennis, right now we're in the latter part of May. As you remember, back when they won Super Bowl 48, the Seahawks had a big banquet in mid-June, I think it was, of 2014 to present the team with their rings.
Super Bowl rings, yeah.
Pretty soon, we're going to see the Seahawks' second Super Bowl rings coming out. I imagine no more than a month from now, probably no later than, I'm guessing, June 25th at the latest. So,
a month from now.
So I greatly look forward to that. We'll definitely be putting pictures up in the group to show it off because we're happy it happened. And then, Dennis, you're gonna have to get another one so you can wear one on each finger.
I will certainly be looking to get another Super Bowl replica ring. Hey, I got a great story about the last ring ceremony they had.
Hit me.
So they had the team in, and they actually presented the rings to them in their like amphitheater they have for the team for when the whole team gets together, watch film or whatever.
Yeah.
They have an amphitheater there, and that's where they gather in order to get their rings. Had family and everything there. But afterwards, there was a big after party. Obviously, I mean,
Of course.
they had I don't know they had a big name. I don't remember who it was, but they had a big hip hop name, I think. But one player skipped the activities to go back and watch game film for the next season.
No, I didn't know.
Do you know who that would have been? Probably one of my favorite Seahawks during that
Offense
tenure.
or defense?
It was defense.
Defense. I would say probably Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor.
It was Earl Thomas.
I had it right the first time.
Earl Thomas
Nice.
actually skipped the activities, the after party, went back to the game film room to study film for the next season.
Wow.
Insane, right? You want to talk about dedicated to winning? Man, I loved Earl Thomas. And I know he had personal issues after, but I still loved Earl Thomas, man. He was my favorite Seahawk, man.
He number 29.
I don't know if he's a great guy or
ET3.
not, but I know he was a phenomenal football player.
Phenomenal football player, definitely. And by the way, the singer you were looking for was Usher.
Okay.
Who was at
It was a big
the
name,
ring,
right?
Yeah, very big name. The sing at the ring ceremony
Yeah.
back in 2014. So.
Yeah. Hey, we kind of skipped over a part of the offseason that already went by. We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about the draft. Now, I know we did talk about things at the draft party, but remember that was only first round when we had our little live stream. But we didn't talk about the draft. So let's talk about some of the guys that we brought in. I'm excited about some of these guys. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's.
So who did we draft?
Well, first and foremost, at pick number 32 overall in the very first round, we got Jadarian, and I think I'm mispronouncing his first name, but Jadarian Price, or how did you pronounce it?
It's pronounced Jadarian. I found this out
Jadarian.
from Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. Yeah, running back out of Notre Dame, and first time ever that two players were drafted at running back from the same team in the first round.
I didn't know that.
First time Jeremiah Love, obviously early to the Cardinals, and Jadarian Price to the Seahawks at number 32. Yeah,
And some of the arguments have been made that Jadarian Price is actually better, even though he played less. But
I don't think you can say he's better.
No.
I can say this. Obviously, there are a lot of metrics that Seattle looks at when they're drafting guys, and Seattle has certain traits that they look for in players when they're drafting them, because it's hard to predict whether a guy's going to succeed or not in the draft. There have been talented guys that flamed out. There have been
Ryan Leaf.
There have been no names that never got drafted and ended up carving out awesome careers. Doug Baldwin.
Oh yeah, Doug
So
Baldwin.
it's not easy to do, but there's certain traits that Seattle looks at. One of the things that they look at running back is explosive traits. And what I mean by that is you look for an explosive play, which means a run of 10 plus yards. 10 yards or more.
Which will usually get you a first down.
Which will obviously, yes.
Unless you lost yards previously.
But these are big chunks that you're looking for.
Oh, absolutely.
And Jadarian Price had the highest percentage of big yard plays of anybody in college football last year. He was number one. Number two was actually his teammate Jeremiah Love.
Yes.
So the percentage of his runs that went 10 yards or more was almost 20%.
Yeah,
Incredible number.
And that's with Price playing a lot less than Love, because Love was the true starter for Notre Dame.
Yeah, so there he certainly had traits that Seattle loved. I think they loved the fact that he stayed at Notre Dame. He could have left. He had offers to leave.
And he would have gotten more money, too.
Through NIL, he would have gotten more money to transfer to another team, but he wanted to get his education at Notre Dame. Who wouldn't?
Great
it's
school.
Notre Dame, for crying out loud.
It is.
Anybody who can say they have a degree from Notre Dame is going to be doing well in their lifetime.
Very much so. I agree.
And then, of course, he wanted to stay because he felt like he committed to the team, and that's where he wanted to stay at, which I think Seattle loved about that. I think when they draft guys, they look for a lot of leadership qualities.
Oh, yeah.
They love guys who are team captains. They love guys that are willing to play in the Senior Bowl. So I think there's a lot of things that they look at, and they saw. I think two things happened in the first round of the draft. One was, I think their number one target was Chris Johnson, the corner out of San Diego State.
Sounds right.
I think San Diego State. they were looking at him at corner. Great tackler, less than 6% missed tackle rate, which is incredible. Especially from a corner. If you think corners aren't usually huge guys, so but yeah, they liked him a lot. He ended up drafted at the 27 position. The Dolphins?
Yes, the Dolphins did pick Chris Johnson at number 27 overall.
So I think that was their number one plan going in was, hey, this is the guy we'd love to see fall to us.
Yeah.
When he didn't, I think that Seattle probably tried to trade out of the 32 slot, could not find a taker that was willing to give up what they felt like was fair. Yeah, they would have traded down.
Yeah.
I think they would have liked to get some draft compensation back from that spot, but it didn't work out, so they went with a guy they liked a lot, which was Jadarian Price. So,
and my prediction for the draft, at least for the number 32 overall pick, was completely wrong because I certainly expected the Seahawks to trade down. Like, I just didn't see them taking someone in the first round. They wanted more capital, which ultimately they did get because they went into the 2026 draft with 4 picks. They came out with 8 because John Schneider, again, like he often does, traded down, got more chances, more guys. Hey, more power to him because some of those picks, later picks, I might add, like Russell Wilson, for example, like Richard Sherman. Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. Richard Sherman was a 5th rounder, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 5th rounder, yeah.
So they turned out to be absolute superstars. And by the way, Dennis, you were correct that Chris Johnson played his college ball at San Diego State.
Right.
So kudos to you for that. Honestly, I look forward to Jadarian Price's contributions to the Seahawks. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. We'll see what happens because who knows how much time he's going to get early in the season because we don't know at this moment in time how much longer it's going to be before Zach Charbonnet is ready to go with his ACL being completely healed. I mean, the sooner the better, but that's an approximately 9-month injury, and he injured himself in January of 2026, still in the 2025 season. But Jadarian Price may be the guy up to week 4 or maybe 5 going into October this year. So we'll see how he does, but I love the quality about him, his cohesiveness, his loyalty to his Notre Dame teammates and staying put, even though he could have made more money on who knows what other team. We'll never know. But, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. And it was funny you mentioned pre-show, too, that the Seahawks depth chart that they have out on their public website right now, if I'm looking at it right now on my laptop, and right now the Seahawks don't have anyone listed as running back 1, and running RB2 is George Halani.
Yeah.
And they can't have Zach Charbonnet on the active roster right now because he is on IR.
Well, no, he's on the roster. Here's the thing. I think what they've done, honestly, I think it's just a matter of they've deleted out guys that were on the end of last year's depth chart because they haven't really put out a depth chart yet.
No, they haven't.
There really isn't going to be one until at least after OTAs.
Oh, for sure.
And probably not until, honestly, the official team is probably not going to release a depth chart probably until preseason.
I mean, it's possible the cut down to 53 men is
maybe that's the first
mandatory
one. I
date
can't say.
is August 26th that'll be happening.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like they just deleted guys out that were there.
Yeah.
You know, Ken Walker obviously signed somewhere else, so they can't put him on there.
Yeah, they took him off, rightfully so.
I think Kobe Bryant was probably the starter at safety, and that slot is also empty. So I think they just haven't replaced those team yet. But yeah, Jadarian Price is going to be fighting with Zach Charbonnet. I think really he's just going to be picking up where Ken Walker was, and maybe we see more Charbonnet next year than we did this past season. But remember, Zach Charbonnet this is the last year of his contract.
It is.
And he's got injury history too, a lot like Ken Walker. So don't be surprised if Seattle lets him walk and somebody else, unless of course they can get him at the price they feel like he's worth.
Yeah.
I think that's really ultimately what happened with Ken Walker was.
K9 wanted a lot of money.
Well, it's not that he wanted it. He was offered it. And you can't blame him for taking the money.
I mean, he was the RB1 on a Super Bowl winning team, and he was the MVP of the Super Bowl. So he accomplished a heck of a lot. Yeah, he really did.
But with his injury history, I think Seattle had a I'm sure they offered him a contract.
Oh, no doubt.
They just had a set price and they weren't going to go above that, and somebody else was willing to. So that's the nature of NFL free agency.
But he missed games, multiple games in 75% of his first
3 of his first 4
seasons.
seasons. Fortunately, last year he was injury free, or
Correct.
pretty much. I mean, you can't really say any player's injury free. There are
yeah.
guys get dinged up, whatever, but he was relatively injury free last year.
Yeah, there was a few instances I remember where Charbonnet came in for 3 or 4 different possessions or series because
Or maybe in
he
most
took
of a game.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see this. So, just so everybody knows, currently Jadarian Price has not signed his rookie contract. I'm sure it's still in the works, but he hasn't actually put pen to paper yet to say, yes, I am formally and legally committing to the Seattle Seahawks to play for you guys in 2026 and up to 2030, because they would still have the 5th-year option, but they wouldn't exercise that until 2030 at the earliest. So
Or 29.
True.
The reason, honestly, rookie contracts are already set as far as dollar amounts.
they are.
They're preset. That's
all the way up to number 32. Yes, they are.
all contracts,
is it
all
throughout
rookie
the
contracts,
entire draft?
The entire draft.
Okay.
There are set numbers. That's why a team can go into the draft. If you know what draft picks you have, you know what your amount of money to spend
There
is.
you go.
But the only reason why any player hasn't signed yet is because the one thing that can be negotiated in the contract is how much of the contract is guaranteed. And ultimately what the agent's job is to do for a player is to get a little bit more of a percentage guaranteed than the guy that was drafted last year in that slot.
Exactly,
got.
yeah.
So, for instance, I don't know the numbers, but let's say last year's number 32 pick had 80% of his contract guaranteed. His agent is not going to budge from, well, you got to beat 80%. So that's probably what the negotiation is. How much of his contract is guaranteed? So. Other than that, everything else is already set. So that was honestly, they just signed Bud Clark the other day.
They did.
He got slightly more than last year's pick in that slot. So
Bud Clark was the number 64 overall pick in round 2.
He was our second round pick. Yeah,
he did
really
sign.
good safety. Really good safety. Honestly, they probably drafted him about where he. Probably a little later than he should have been drafted. He's probably a mid-second round pick. Really good safety. And obviously that was a position of need for us, having lost Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I think he'll take over there.
He is a competitor. I don't know if he'll start. I honestly truly think that Ty Okada will probably start next to Julian Love.
Oh, I'm sorry, Josh.
We're talking safety, so Julian Love. Yeah, Julian Love, and it'll be corner. It'll probably be Ty Okada. But remember, the way Seattle uses their defense, there's a lot of rotation in and out. Sometimes they'll go 3 safeties. Sometimes they'll go 4 corners. Sometimes they'll run 1 linebacker and do all secondary guys. It just depends on what they're doing.
They did that 3 safety look. Did you see that in the Super Bowl when Love got the interception? Yeah. Because they were so good at reading Drake May. The play prior, they knew what he was going to do, that he was just out of position to get the INT, and then the very next play, Love said, I know exactly where he's going with this. I know the route. He jumped right in front of it, and he got that INT in the Super Bowl, I think, 4th quarter. And that epitomizes how Seattle does things. If they see a weakness, they're going to exploit it against the other team.
Yeah, one thing I love that Seattle does as far as drafting guys is they draft guys that want to compete. You know, John Schneider actually mentioned this, and I don't remember who he was talking to or he was interviewing with, but he said that one thing he learned from this year versus the previous time when Seattle won a Super Bowl, a lot of guys they drafted were like, oh my gosh, I'm playing alongside Richard Sherman, a little starry-eyed.
Oh yeah,
I'm playing next to Richard Sherman. I'm playing next to Earl Thomas. I'm playing with Russell Wilson. I'm playing with Marshawn Lynch. Whereas the guys they're drafting now are, hey, I'm looking to take Julian Love's starting spot.
Yeah.
I don't care who he is. I want that spot.
Even though he's got a ring, he's got all those accolades and everything else.
These guys aren't looking to play with these guys. They want to beat them out for a starting spot.
Yeah.
And I really feel like their next 2 picks. So it was Bud Clark, and then
number
Julian
3
Neal
was Julian Neal, who's a corner out of Arkansas.
Yeah, corner. I really think these guys are all uber competitors.
Very much so.
And of course, at this level, it's hard to find a guy that isn't competitive. but these guys are not going to be back down from anybody. When these guys go up against JSN and OTAs,
and everything, yeah.
they aren't going to be impressed. They will be,
Yeah.
but they're not going to go in thinking, "Oh, I'm going against JSN." They're like, "I'm going to beat JSN.
They will.
I'm going to
they
beat
will
this
try
guy.
to. I mean,
This guy ain't going to make a catch on me."
yeah. There's a quote right here that coming from Julian Neal himself. He says, "I'm the most physical corner in this draft class," referring to the 26 draft. Direct quote. So I'm sure he's going to be competing really hard in OTAs and camp and mini camp and practice and preseason. No doubt that these guys who they drafted will be showing what they can do in preseason games, like the game against the Cowboys I mentioned a few minutes ago. Where's the schedule? So the Seahawks opponents in preseason, yeah, I know the schedule's out, but opponents are going to be Cowboys, Titans, Chiefs. So the Seahawks will also play the Chiefs in the regular season in week, where is it here? Looks like somewhere around 8 or 9. I didn't count exactly, but
So what you can expect is no starters playing against the Chiefs in the preseason game. Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. So the other guy they drafted that I'm pretty excited about is Bo Stevens out of Iowa. This guy is came from a zone blocking scheme which Seattle runs,
Yep.
and was phenomenal in that scheme. And again, I don't know if he's going to start or not. Of course, this is a constant area of concern for Seahawks fans, especially online Seahawks fans.
Oh,
was
yeah, there's a lot of arguments.
Anthony Bradford as our starting right guard.
Yeah, he had a lot of when he was hot, he was fine, but when he was bad, he was awful. Gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
there were times when you watched him going, "How is this guy playing the NFL?"
Yeah, he'd get pancaked too, and like,
there were times, yes.
and Darnold would get sacked because you'd have some nose tackle coming right over and through Bradford. So
Yeah, Bradford's a better run blocker than he is a pass protector.
no question about that.
But Bo Stevens probably is also.
Yeah.
But any offensive line from Iowa is going to be a good pick, honestly. And I really feel like he will challenge. If he doesn't beat out Bradford, he is like option 1A.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, but he could also be an option for maybe either side of the line if somebody gets injured, and that's an area where you cannot have enough depth. Is at the offensive line.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you saw Charles Cross go down at one point last year, and I think Gray Zabel even missed a game somewhere late regular season.
That sounds familiar.
Missed half a game. I can't remember exactly, but depth is critical. No doubt about it.
Well, Josh Jones filled in admirably last year. He played really well, and that's an area where Seattle last year it felt like. Even if a key guy, Seattle had their share of injuries, and it felt like they didn't, but they really did.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But the next guy up really stood up and played well. I mean, Josh Jones at offensive tackle when Charles Cross was out played
so.
Admirably.
Well done. Kudos to you, man.
No, I mean, guys really stepped up and played well beyond Bryce Cavaldew at guard.
Yep.
There were a number of times when a guy stepped up that was the backup and played just about as well as the starter did. Yep. And that was a difference for Seattle last year. They were deep, deep, deep.
Can never have too much depth, ever. Especially with the rotation style they did back in the 2013 season where I think it was, who was it last time we talked? You said had the highest rate of snaps?
Yeah, an interesting stat from that year. On their defensive line.
Was it Red Bryant?
No, it was Michael Bennett.
Okay.
But he only played 52% of the snaps.
Oh, that's so
He played the most of anybody, of any snaps. He played half the snaps. That's how much rotation they rotated guys in and out.
One of the best defensive lines in history.
Well, as far as top to bottom, yeah, because I mean, one guy goes down or one guy comes out, another guy comes in, and you're like,
there's no difference.
You got fresh legs.
Yeah.
And whoo, man, how do you get tired as an offense? I mean, the guys in the trenches, they are battling.
Oh, no doubt.
We have no idea what it's like. I was a really interesting article I read on ESPN's website one day. It was about what happens at the bottom of a pile. You do not want to know.
Oh yeah.
What happens at the bottom of a scrum pile when there's a pile when there's a short yardage goal line situation and that just ends up with 22 bodies all stuck together? You do not want to. biting, kicking,
Yeah.
peeing. I mean, they're
worse. We won't go into the literally dirty details of what happens at the bottom of the scrum.
punching the jewels.
Yeah,
That's a lot of things that happen.
It's pretty bad. You
It
just
is
can't
bad.
see it on camera. But
No, we don't see that.
you don't want
so-
to. Honestly, it's
But the
less
things,
than ideal.
the physicality of that position is incredible, and you got to be tired at the end of a game. I can't even
no
imagine
doubt
that
about it.
a starting left tackle that keeps going up against a top-notch edge rusher. How tired do you have to be at the end of the game? Going, man, I gave everything I had.
Oh, they're beyond exhausted, and these guys condition like us regular people can't even imagine. But they're still just done
but
the game. I mean,
by the end of a game, you got to be beat. And,
Oh, yeah.
And if you keep rotating guys in that are fresh, whew, man, that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, the depth is important, and I think it's funny because they didn't lose one offensive lineman this offseason.
Yep.
So everybody that was on the team last year is on the team right now. Plus, they added somebody. So you have to think that the last guy on the list, whoever the end of the bean is going to end up on the practice squad. So
Most likely.
So their offensive line should get better,
I certainly hope so because they're going to have
or at least maintain.
different running back. Maintaining is fine with me.
I think
I'm
for
good,
for the first time in many years now, I felt like the offensive line was better than competent.
Yeah, and we had a lot of low years, especially like 2015, 16, 17, 18, when Russell Wilson had absolutely no protection. I think the Seahawks bounced back and forth between the worst O-line in the NFL and the second worst, and that was just ugly to watch in those years. That's one of the reasons he ran so much.
Yeah,
So,
and it's funny.
scrambled, rather,
It's funny because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, John Schneider didn't invest in the position." That is absolutely untrue. They drafted offensive linemen throughout all those years. They just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
They didn't work out outside of the draft, and really this is what started it. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas both got drafted in the same round,
Yes, they did.
same draft. And I called the Abe Lucas one. I knew that he was going to be a draft pick for Seattle. I knew that was coming, man. He was a Seahawk through and through, and I liked him a lot out of Washington State. So
Yeah, he's a big guy.
so the offensive line looked good. So
Yeah.
I really feel like those are the guys that I'm sure are going to make the team. The guys that were drafted out of that, they obviously have a chance. And what I noticed, the 3 of those 4 guys that were drafted after Bo Stevens all could contribute on special teams. So
Yes,
I really feel
they will.
like Seattle did very, very, very well in the draft. And I compare it to our nemesis or our fellow NFC West teams. I really feel like they just kicked the can on the draft.
Oh yeah, especially the Rams, like Ty Simpson. Why did they get him? I get it. Matthew Stafford's getting a little older, but just the Rams fans were even booing. I saw multiple clips at the official Rams watch party of Rams fans booing the pick of Simpson in the first round.
You can't ever say that Sean McVay can't turn a guy around or can't make the best out of a quarterback, because Sean McVay is an offensive genius.
No doubt about it.
Sean McVay is what Mike McDonald is on defense. And he's been doing it for a long time now.
Yes.
Sean McVay is an incredible coach. I would even say right now I feel like he's still a better coach than Mike McDonald. And I love Mike McDonald. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mike McDonald's
I
one of
know
the
you
top
do.
5 coaches in the NFL.
Easily.
He was an incredible hire by John Schneider. But Sean McVay he's a genius. You look at how the one team that keeps decimating us on our defense is Sean McVay.
Yeah, especially Puka Nacua is.
I don't care who. I'm serious. I don't think I really care who you put in what position. They're tight end. Look at Colby Parkinson. Used to be a Seahawk.
He did, yeah.
What did he do
Tight
for
end.
the Seahawks?
Basically nothing.
Nothing. He was a tight end. He was Joe Schmo tight end.
Yeah, he was.
What did he do against the
2
Seahawks?
snaps.
And what did he do last season? Have his best season ever. Had
Exactly.
an incredible
Best game,
season. You take Sean McVay and he's going to create a great offense.
He is.
So, but I really think they booted the draft. Now, did they have to do a whole lot? No. They improved. Their free agency was really good. Plus, they traded for Trent McDuffie, which was one area of concern for them was corner. And they drafted a corner too. So I really feel like the Rams are, again, going this season, I really feel like the Rams are as good as the Seahawks.
I would agree.
I don't think either team can make a label that they are better than the other. I think they're pretty much even. The 49ers got better in the offseason as far as their free agency also. Plus, you have to feel like if they can finally stay healthy,
We'll
it's
see.
not. It's not the substation.
Yeah,
that was
it's definitely
that.
not.
By the way, that was great in the schedule release for the Seahawks.
Yeah. How they were making fun of all the opposing teams.
The
for
whole
26.
theme was the perfumes or the colognes.
Yeah.
And of course, the 49ers cologne was Substation.
Yeah.
The Rams one was Conversion number 2.
Yes.
Come on, man. 2-point conversion.
If you guys haven't seen the clip that the Seahawks made, it's out on their official X account, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go out and watch that. It has all kinds of
funny.
making fun of other teams.
It's even making fun of our own guys a little bit.
It is. And what's the actor's name that's wearing the cowboy hat and stuff? Do you remember? It's not Matthew McConaughey. It's some other guy.
I don't know. I don't know. I know that AJ Barner was in it as the model.
Yes.
And the funny thing about that is, of course, he's dressed out like a model. He dresses like that in real life.
Yeah, he's one of those fashion forward guys.
Yeah, so
I don't understand it, but hey, do your thing, man.
I love the catfish cologne.
Yeah.
Holy catfish! Oh man, that's we making fun of our own announcer for crying out loud. Come on, man, it was fun.
Again, if you guys don't know, the reason why Holy Catfish was in it is because Steve Rabel, the longtime Seahawks play-by-play announcer, says Holy Catfish in his broadcasts during live games. When he gets excited, holy catfish, they made a great play and got an interception or a long run or something like that. So that's where that comes from, just in case someone was unaware and didn't get the reference. So I encourage you guys to go watch that when you have a chance. It's pretty funny. It's pretty good, and it's a great lead-in to the 2026 season.
Were there any other? Did you see any other teams? The Titans are always funny. I saw one from the Titans a few years ago. It's hilarious because they're interviewing their own fans out on the street, and they're asking the people to identify the logo of the team they're playing.
Everybody got stuff.
Well, not everybody got it wrong, but they took the ones that were like way off, like the girl. All the girls don't know the logos very well, but
not at all.
they're funny. Those are funny, man. The Titans are really good. The Chargers always have a really good. The Chargers are the top end. They are the blueprint of how you want your social media team to be. Check out the Chargers social media team.
I haven't seen the Chargers one, but I'll go watch it.
It's funny.
At the very end of the Seahawks clip where they were talking about releasing the schedule this year, they had, the actor with a panther that supposedly sprays perfume out of its backside. But honestly, I thought they could have worked in something funny because there was so many funny references made in the original Anchorman movie about chunks of real panther or bits of real panther. But so they could have maybe taken that second level and made it more funny. I did see the actual Panthers release where the Panthers, they had team players that went out to some form of an actual bomb range, and they were taking stuffed animals and using tannerite or something with a trained bomb technician, literally having the players click a clicker and actually blow up stuffed animals of the Rams and
Mythbusters
bears
style
and things. Yeah, exactly. Shout out Mythbusters.
I love Mythbusters.
Jamie and Adam, you are missed more than you know. Rest in peace, Grant Imahara. So, Dennis, the last couple guys that they drafted, the Seahawks drafted this year, they added a little bit more depth at wide receiver with Emmanuel Henderson Jr., who's a wide receiver out of Kansas. Yeah. At pick number 199, they added Andre Fuller, another corner out of Toledo. They added Devin Eastern. Devin, sorry. Oh, that's interesting spelling. Anyway, Devin Eastern, defensive tackle, to further bolster the defensive line out of Minnesota. And last but certainly not least, Michael Dansby, another corner out of Arizona. So it's going to be quite the battle once OTAs and camp come around for the defense. And I look forward to seeing that. I cannot wait. And hopefully all you guys can't wait too. We look forward to seeing you at these watch parties. We've reiterated over and over because there's so much fun. And I really have to give a big shout out because I was kind of an outsider. I mean, I started attending San Antonio Seahawks fan club just 2 years ago after moving in from out of state. And it was already established with people like Austin and yourself and Brenda and Jeremy and Letty and others. So it's a welcoming place. So I highly encourage you guys to come out, have a great time, watch football, They've got great drinks. Usually 4 food trucks are open. Sometimes 2 if it's cold, but it's a lot of fun. And you can bring your dog if you have a dog to that particular bar. You have to sign a waiver just so everybody knows.
My first time there, they had a teacup pig.
Austin said that his first time there at the dog company Ice House, somebody had a teacup pig. I don't think I've ever seen a teacup. Have you seen a teacup
Yes,
pig?
I have.
At the zoo or something? Where would
Oh,
you find?
you can buy
Maybe
them,
the
yes.
fair?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So hope to see everybody there this coming late summer and fall.
We were talking about the other NFC West teams that were drafting. I kind of segued into that because I talked about this. So the 49ers, they got to stay healthy, which they haven't been able to do. But that's what happens when you have when you have an older roster. That's bound to happen. So
and McCaffrey went down at one point last year, and who knows how he'll perform in 26.
But they had a good offseason. They had a good free agency. Now they had I don't feel like they drafted well. I think they reached on a lot of guys, and I just don't feel like they drafted well.
Didn't they trade up in the first round? I believe they did to somewhere around 11 or 12 that we covered. Let me look that up.
49ers. I had some notes on them. I'll say that the 49ers, a lot of people think that they probably did too much reaching throughout the draft. I can see where if you have a guy that's ranked really high on your board or a little bit higher than other teams have him ranked, go for it. But if you are consistently drafting guys, part of drafting is knowing where you can pick a guy at and still get him, and knowing where other teams would probably draft him. Let me give you a perfect example. The Eagles, just so you know, the Eagles were about to draft Russell Wilson before Seattle did.
Yeah, I remember that back in the 2012 draft.
Yeah, they were about to draft Russell Wilson, and Seattle got him Seattle loved him as a draft pick. They just felt like there were other guys they wanted to prioritize first, but they felt like we can get him in the 3rd round, so let's focus on other guys before that. And that's exactly what they did. I think that the 49ers could have done that better in this draft, where they could have gotten guys lower in the draft and picked up better players. But I don't think they did super well. And I'll say the Cardinals, man. I get where they felt like a lot of people felt like Jeremiah Love was the best player in the draft. Just the people.
He might have been, but the Raiders needed a quarterback. Clearly,
right.
Kirk Cousins going nowhere fast.
Well, there wasn't I'll be honest. In my opinion, not one of the quarterbacks was worthy of a 1st-round pick. Not one quarterback in the draft.
That's a big statement too.
I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to amount to a whole lot in the NFL.
Agree.
That's my personal opinion.
The Raiders are frankly in shambles.
I don't think any quarterback taken in this year's draft is going to amount to much in the NFL. That's my personal opinion on it. But
time will tell.
Well, exactly. But for the Cardinals to draft a running back there when it was not a position of need for them.
No, it wasn't.
And I get where you say, hey, could he be a generational type running back? Sure. But when are you going to be good enough where that's going to matter? Are you going to be good enough in the next 4 years that it's going to matter?
I mean, is your O-line going to be at that level to make him a great, maybe a top 3 in the NFL?
Are you going to have a quarterback?
Years? Yeah, who's going to play quarterback? Jacoby Brissett? He's at best a solid backup. He is not starter.
He's material. A top-end backup in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's not a starter. Not today.
But he's going to start, for the Cardinals come week 1. I mean,
I don't think it's going to be Gardner Minshew. So.
Oh, no.
Might not be. But
respect the stash, yes. But ultimately, Gardner Minshew, he's not at the level of Jacoby Brissett. He's a unreliable backup. And I'm glad you mentioned Russell Wilson because I was just thinking through the 3 guys who preceded him. Matt Flynn was traded from the Packers, and everyone in their grandma expected Matt Flynn to be the guy.
Yeah, myself included.
Even after the 2012 draft, when they'd actually taken Wilson, and the previous years, you had your Tavares Jackson, you had Charlie Whitehurst, and Seneca Wallace, and it was just a revolving door of quarterbacks for the Seahawks at that point after Matt Hasselbeck's Super Bowl run, and I'm so glad that they landed him. The Eagles didn't. And
I
then-
changed the Seahawks history.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no question. I mean, everyone was so up in arms. The old timers like myself, oh my
Well-
gosh, after the '05 Super Bowl with Steve Hutchison leaving, and he was among the best of the best.
He was.
when it came to guards. I mean, right up there with Walter Jones, in my opinion.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he is. He didn't go in. He went in as a Viking, unfortunately, but not as a Seahawk. But that's water under the bridge. But still, so glad he got Matt Hasselbeck through the NFC Championship game in '05. And
Well,
then
remember that
but didn't win.
the NFL Hall of Fame is a little different than baseball. In baseball, there's a cap, so
Yes,
it has a
there is.
player's name on it. In the NFL, there's not. It's just a face. So he doesn't go in necessarily as a particular player. In
Okay.
baseball, they do. But Steve Hutchison was known more for his career in Minnesota than he was
Yes,
in
he was.
Seattle. So, but he still had a great first 4 years in
No
Seattle.
doubt
He was
about it.
phenomenal. So
I agree.
And Minnesota really cheated in order to sign him. So let's be honest about it. That the NFL made a rule after they signed him saying
Yeah.
you can't do that anymore. So
Hey,
because it was unfair. But
Take advantage of the rule while you can. I mean,
well, you remember the rule,
Yes.
right? Do you remember the rule?
no, not specifically.
So the Vikings put a clause in his contract that said if at the time of the signing of the contract, the team that he was signing him to the contract had an income tax that the entire contract was
state,
guaranteed
yes.
throughout the contract.
Got it.
Minnesota did not have, I don't think still has a state income tax. They might now, but at the time they didn't. Washington did. So basically, Minnesota put it in the contract that if Seattle signed him, the contract was guaranteed, but if Minnesota signed him, it wasn't.
Okay.
And what the NFL did after that was they made it so that clauses in the contracts could not differ from one team to another.
Makes sense because
But at the time, it wasn't a
you
rule.
might have
and
an equal contract, but because of the income tax offset, one guy might be getting paid more than another.
Well, that has nothing to do with that. It just had that fact to do with that the contract would be guaranteed
Okay.
throughout the entire length of the contract.
Okay.
And no team at that time was signing anybody to. In fact, it still happens phenomenally rarely today. Guys just don't get in the NFL don't get fully guaranteed contracts, so it just doesn't happen.
Part of the business.
Yeah, so it was unfortunately, it was a business decision for Seattle that they had to make. They didn't have a choice. So
Yeah.
But anyway, guys don't go in the Hall of Fame like that. But I think the Seattle knocked out the draft. I think they hit a home run. I think the Rams grounded out to shortstop. I think the Cardinals got an infield single off a swinging bunt.
I
think-
love the baseball puns.
And I think the 49ers got a ground ball single through the right side of the field. I think that's how I would rate how the teams did in the draft. I think Seattle had a home run. I really do.
I do.
I really feel like, especially considering where they were drafting from, I think they nailed their picks in that they filled needs for the team this year. Which is, that's one thing I think Seattle was really looking at was this is a window of opportunity.
Well, it is.
We've got
They're
one
in the
more-
Super Bowl window.
We've got
right
one
now.
more year of a quarterback making less than top tier quarterbacks make.
Yes.
Which allows for us to have some depth on the team. And I think this is a window where they went, hey, let's fill some roster spots and try to run this back and as close to last year as possible.
Well, here's a question for you, and I want to get your opinion on this solely. Obviously, Sam Darnold signed a 3-year contract for somewhere around $110 million.
Yeah.
So that break it down, call it rounding up a little, 35.
Let's say 36
million,
yeah.
36 million a year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we all hope that. I do, you do, and Austin does. Hope we run it back in the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day, 2027 in Los Angeles. Let's say Darnold does do that.
Okay.
And I hope he does, but we'll see. Does Darnold then potentially get that gigantic contract going forward? Not at the Dak Prescott level of $60 million a year.
Well, here's the thing. If the Seahawks are running back another Super Bowl, it certainly. Well, let's put it this way: how much of the Seahawks' success can you tie to Sam Darnold from last year?
I can't think of an exact percentage, but let's face it, he wasn't an absolute superstar. Yes, JSN set the Seahawks team record for receiving
Sure.
yards and solidified his place at number 7 all time in receiving yards in a single season.
Yeah.
So that's great. Aside from that, I mean, there was a few excellent passes that were made, primarily the Thursday night game with a touchdown pass to A.J. Barner and then the 2-point conversion pass to Eric Sorberg to win the game. So there was a few clutch plays, but ultimately Arnold wasn't the guy who could scramble like Russell Wilson could.
No, he doesn't run much.
And throw that deep pass with a rocket of an arm like John Elway could, or Peyton Manning.
I think Sam Darnold is firmly middle of the pack as far as NFL quarterbacks go right now. I think he's somewhere between, say, 18 and 12.
Okay, that's fair.
That's where I would put him.
Still love you, Sam.
Love Sam Darnold. Don't get me wrong.
Not talking down, but he's just not.
But he's not Patrick Mahomes. Let's be honest about it.
Absolutely not.
So the question then comes to it is there's really multiple factors, but let's say they run it back again and he's the same quarterback he was last year, which I think we will all sign up for right now.
Absolutely.
If our defense plays like we were, I think we improve the offensive line, at least stays the same, if not improves. I think the defense stays where it is. I think the special teams will stay where it is.
Yep.
Really the biggest question mark for the Seahawks is how is our offense coordinator going to keep it going? So let's say we run it back and we're in the Super Bowl. Let's say we just make the Super Bowl again.
Right.
Sam Darnold's the same quarterback he is. He's got 1 year left on his contract.
Yep.
Does Seattle sign him to a long-term contract? I think Seattle will look into getting talks with Sam Darnold. The question is, does Sam Darnold keep chasing rings, or does he chase a big contract? And it just depends on what's important to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has already made some money in the NFL.
He has. He made in the 25 season, he made that 35 or 36 million from the Seahawks. But at that point, too, you have to start considering his age. He's not old by any stretch of the imagination. He's 28 right now. He's about to turn 29 next month on June 5th.
He was drafted, 2018 or 2019?
Let me look.
I think 2019 is when he was drafted, if I remember.
2018.
It was
he was selected number 3 overall by the Jets.
So he's made some money in the NFL already.
He has.
Now, it just depends. And the thing about NFL players, I never, ever hold it against a player to go for the money. Look, the NFL is a really hard thing to get into. There's a very, very, very few percentage of people that can get into the NFL. Just make it into the NFL. Then, do you know what the average length of a career is in the NFL?
Somewhere probably 6 to 7 years,
no,
I would imagine.
The average is less than 2 years.
What? Why?
Why? Because you got guys that make it 1 year and don't ever go back. You got guys that play a half season and then get injured and never play again.
Well, the injury aspect makes sense.
So it's less than 2 years. The average NFL career lasts less than 2 years. So I would never hold it against a player to go get the money that he can when he can in the NFL. It's hard to do that. So, and you got to think about your future and your family's future.
I think the Seahawks personally would most likely extend something very significant, more than he's making now to Darnold. And here's why. Here's why I think that. You've got JSN locked up for the next 4, right?
No, you still got Devin Witherspoon to hay.
Yeah, true. But, I mean, keeping JSN and Sam Darnold, who clearly mesh like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, you might want to keep him around in Seattle until the JSN's contract's up.
A lot of it, I think, will have to do, again, this is how Seattle operates. They, just like with K9, they had a set number they were willing to go to.
Yeah.
Was that enough for K9 to stay? No, it wasn't.
Clearly not.
The Chiefs found more value in him to their team than Seattle did to their team. Kudos to the Chiefs. Great news for K9. Hope he has a great career in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll stay healthy, but that's neither here nor there. Neither did the Seahawks.
I mean, he is injury prone. We saw that during his 4 years with the Seahawks.
So I feel like with Sam Darnold, Seattle will have a number, and they'll say Sam Darnold. Not just the quarterback position. I'm talking about specifically Sam Darnold.
Yes.
You are worth this much to us. That's the highest we're going to go. If you take the contract, we'd be happy to keep you here. If you want to go look elsewhere, we got no problem with that. If you go look elsewhere and somebody else is willing to pay you money, congratulations. Glad you made bank. Hope your career goes well.
Yeah.
If you go out there and find that nobody else is willing to pay you what we're willing to pay you, great. Come on back. We're happy to have you back. And I think that's where Seattle is going to draw. They're going to draw a line. They're going to say that.
So. I agree with this sentiment. I mean, we love Darnold, but nobody, and I mean absolutely no one, stays with the team forever. And
it just doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't. And frankly, another very well-loved player, Bobby Wagner, B-Wags, number 54. I'm pretty sure this will be his last season in the NFL. I realize he's been gone from the Seahawks for a long time, but I think he'll set the all-time record this season of tackles, tackles made in a career, not in a single season. He'll set that record, and then I really hope at the end of the season, somehow, some way, because he spent so much time with the Seahawks and he helped them get their first ring, they'll bring him back on one of those one-day contracts, and then he can actually retire as a Seahawk. No question, with him already being at second place in all-time tackles made, he's already a guaranteed Hall of Famer 5 years after he retires.
Yeah.
I would love to see Bobby Wagner personally set the record for all-time tackles made. He's behind Ray Lewis at the moment.
Yeah.
By something like 54 tackles behind, and he's made as many as, I want to say, 130 tackles in a season. So that, for Bobby Wagner, despite the fact he's a little bit older now, he can do that. And he also was awarded a honorary doctorate degree from
Utah State. Yeah.
Utah State. So now he's Dr. Bobby, and he actually specifically stated he wants to be called Dr. Wagner. So, hey, good for him. I mean, good for you, Mr. Wagner, Dr. Wagner.
Will that be his intro in the games when they bring the intro of the players?
I mean, it'd be
Dr. Bobby Wagner, Utah State.
Dr. Wagner.
No, he'll come up when they put the player's face on. They say Bobby Wagner, Utah State. He'll come on and say Dr. Bobby Wagner, Utah State.
Honestly,
cool.
I hope he does, because I'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Because
has anybody in the NFL ever been able to do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I
doubt it.
I think what was his name? Dan Dornick became a dentist somewhere after
I think you're right.
After his time with the Seahawks, he became a dentist, and he was in Eastern Washington, something like the Tri-Cities, Yakima, Wenatchee, something like that. I'd have to Google it, but that definitely counts as a doctor position. So, hey,
no, I'm talking about just while they were playing.
Oh yeah,
so
yes, while they're playing. Yeah. I don't know of anyone else. If anyone out there knows of a NFL player who during his time in the NFL became an actual doctor, whether medical or honorary, or physicist like Dr. Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory, please let us know. Drop a comment. Please let myself, Dennis, and Austin know what you think of these broadcasts. Are there subjects you'd like us to cover? Would you like to be part of the broadcast yourself? Come potentially sit right here between Dennis and I and talk football for an hour or so and get your opinion out there. Let us know. We're happy to receive feedback, good or bad, constructive or otherwise. We want everyone to have at least a small say in this. So let us know what you think. Thank you very much to everyone who joined us for this particular broadcast. We're here because you guys out there, wherever you may be, are watching us. And we do this for fun, honestly. Dennis and I both kind of clicked in the 2024 season when I first arrived at the San Antonio Seahawks fan club. And we do this because we love to talk football. Plain and simple. We don't get paid for this, and we never will. So we're looking forward to continuing this with ideas from you guys. Some of the things that we want to talk to you guys next time about, we're shooting for somewhere around the end of July-ish.
Beginning of August, yeah, something like that.
Beginning of August, it will be our next episode. Yeah. We'll be discussing the schedule in depth, bringing up the preseason again. Now, granted, we already know the starters aren't going to play preseason, so it never happens.
At least not much.
Or at maybe one series, throw one pass for Sam Darnold, and then that's it, and see you week one.
Yeah,
but
you just want to risk it.
No, you really don't want to risk that injury, especially with your known first team guys. So we look forward to seeing everyone at the bowling event that we referenced at the start of the broadcast. Again, May 30th at Pinstack, 2 p.m. at the Pinstack location behind the Ferrari dealership off I-10 in North San Antonio. So don't go to the other one because we won't be there. The club is picking up the lane fees. It'll be pay for your own shoes and drinks and food. But the club has the lane fees completely covered. Kids are more than welcome to attend that event. We hope you'll bring your kids out. No dogs at the bowling event. They can't come to that. But the preseason games, you can bring your dog, if you have one, to the Texas Dog Company Ice House. Hopefully there's no weird quirks that develop in the off seasons, things like injuries that happen in OTAs, mini camp, rookie camp.
You just jinxed it. Way to go. You would knock on wood.
No, that's not me. Don't blame. What are you talking?
You said it. You just jinxed a team now.
I didn't jinx anything.
Great.
Oh, we'll have to call the C Pope in order to forgive me of my football sins. So C Pope, if you're out there up in Seattle watching, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do a jinx. Thanks, Dennis. That didn't even enter my mind.
Yeah, I'm not the one that said it. So.
I know, but
really, the main injury we'll be able to maybe speak more on is Zach Charbonnet. So
yes, we'll definitely be discussing Zach Charbonnet. Hopefully, the team puts out a official release as to his progress. Whether they will or not, they don't have to in the off season. They do when it comes to the actual injury reports. Preseason, they won't even activate him for sure because there's no point. But week one, if they still have him on the 53-man roster, they'll have to actually put him on IR should he still be unable to go. Or maybe he'll be on the practice squad, depending on the progress of his injury. There's no telling at this time.
Oh, you know what else is coming up too? Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks is coming up.
Comes up in August.
Yes,
so I don't know. We may not be able to talk about it the next one, but maybe the one after that we can talk about how fun it has been watching the Seahawks on national TV. I think it'll be fun.
HBO's Hard Knocks will be filming. I'm sure they'll be at all the OTAs, all the mini camps, concentrating on rookies as brand new players, things of that nature. Brand new coaches like the brand new offensive coordinator, Mike McDonald, going into his third year. I mean, he's still young. He's younger than I am. And
Mike McDonald, man, we really nailed that one, man.
Oh, no doubt.
We nailed it.
Thanks, Baltimore. We appreciate it.
Man, I know Baltimore fans are going to be kicking themselves thinking,
definitely.
Man, if John Harbaugh is just going to leave, why don't we keep Mike McDonald? But
I'm sure they're kicking themselves, too, because, I mean, Lamar Jackson's got unquestionable talent. Scrambling, rushing, passing. But he just doesn't have that supporting cast over there in Baltimore to
they've had good teams. They just couldn't finish it off.
Exactly.
You know? They always struggled against Kansas City. So
yeah. And hopefully as things progress here, we'll be able to discuss, obviously we play the Cardinals, Niners, and Rams twice a year in the regular season. We will not see them in preseason. But we can see what our rivals might be doing. Who knows what will happen in their off seasons as well? We don't know.
Do we really consider the Cardinals a rival?
That's a good question, honestly. I mean, yes, in the sense that they're in the same division, but
they're in our division.
I mean, no, in the sense that we've beaten
the
brakes off of them.
It's been a while. Although back when, back 8, 9, 10 years ago, they used to beat us in Seattle a lot.
They did. I was at a couple of those games right around the Christmas season in Seattle where the Cardinals beat us, I think, twice in 2 years, and that was disappointing around Christmas. But
was it a Sunday night or a Monday night when they played to that 6-6 tie? That was a horrible football game.
That was actually in Arizona. That was Pete Carroll was the coach.
Yeah,
and that was probably the most boring football game I've ever seen.
Yeah, one of the worst football games I've ever watched.
In my opinion, no NFL game should ever end in a tie. That's just ridiculous, man.
Not only that, both teams missed chip shot field goals to win the game in overtime.
Yep, you're right.
That's crazy.
That's the one tie in Seahawks history and the one tie Pete Carroll ever had both in college and pro. So, yeah.
We'll have some topics to talk about.
We will.
We'll come with something else to talk about.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being Seahawks fans. We look forward to speaking to each and every one of you next time.
Yeah, go Hawks.
We make an episode. And, of course, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.